What's happening, people? Thank you for tuning on in. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. If you guys like the Tobin and Leroy radio program, got that for you. Just go to youtube.com/TicketMiami. I will put that link in the description so you guys have easy access to that. And you guys can check us out there 4 hours every single day. Podcast available for you guys to listen to as well. And thanks for all your support. Really, really appreciate it. Dolphins camp continues to roll on. Some sick throws from Tua continuing yesterday. I saw that one that he had tight as a... just like that. That's actually the sound of it, like a vortex. Remember the vortex? My son has this new thing. It's like it was like a Russell Wilson version, and it's like called like a hawk wing or something like that, or like a shark wing or something. I don't know what the hell, but it looked like a vortex but hollow, and I didn't like it. I'm like, listen, dude, we gotta get you an old school vortex. They make those anymore? I'm not quite sure, but that's what Tua looked like, just whistling it right down in there to Jalen Waddle with Xavier Howard blanketed all over him. Really, really cool to see. But one of the interesting things that happened going into the weekend was Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki commented on the idea that he did not get a new contract, that he is going into this year with the franchise tag, and had said that he did not have any talks this summer. I was not surprised that there were no talks this summer when asked about that. But I thought he had an interesting thing where he said something to the effect of, he was kind of joking, but I think probably also there was a kernel of truth in it, where he was talking about the idea that he did not complain about his contract in the offseason, and maybe he should have.
Yeah, I mean, it's a business. The team's going to do what's best for the team, and then you got to go out and, perform and do what you do. So, I mean, there's not really much else to say. I'm not a big complain about it, make a big deal about it. Although it seems like the guys that do get paid a lot of money, so maybe I should have. But, I'm just going to keep coming to work and keep doing what I'm doing.
He is right. Like, look, if I always say this on the show, and really with any of these things, like, if you want to get what you want, you got to make a stink. You do. And, take this from somebody who really doesn't do that in my business, that I feel like has cost me and in a lot of ways, is that I don't, make a stink and get upset with management all the time and, piss and moan my way, because it does feel like the people, you look around sometimes and it feels like the people that do that in your business get along further. There's exceptions to that rule, and, I'm certainly, happy where I'm at, but I definitely feel like people who get stuff done faster and people maybe who get it done more frequently, maybe it's because they do it louder, but it does feel like that works. And I think he probably looks around the league, Deebo Samuel, kind of making a stink this offseason, A.J. Brown, making a stink this offseason, Kyler Murray. We just went through this with Kyler Murray and taking all the stuff off of social media. And then you look at Mike Gesicki and he's like, he didn't do anything. Lamar Jackson kind of did a little bit of like social media change, but has really been just going forth, hasn't missed anything, hasn't gone against anything, and still doesn't have the contract done. So when he says that it pays off for the people who complain, I don't think he's wrong. And I don't think anybody really holds it against him once the deal gets done. I think that if it never gets done, then people will call you greedy and people will call you upset. But like most people who are 49ers fans, they want Deebo Samuel on the team. They're not going to remember what social media shenanigans he pulled, maybe until, he starts stinking up the joint. And same thing with Kyler Murray. I think most Cardinals fans want to root for Kyler Murray, so I don't think they hold it against him that he makes a stink and if he re-signs. When you make a stink and then you get out, yeah, people are going to be pissed. Don't get me wrong. And then that's what I'm hoping with the Miami Heat. It's like I see all these stars around. I look like a Donovan Mitchell this week, and he's so happy down here in Miami. I'm like, well, dude, don't end up the next Bradley Beal. Make a stink, get on out of there. Go somewhere and get it done. But the interesting thing is, he's got this situation he's coming into, and there's been so much focus on the new coach, the wide receivers, and Mike has talked about the idea that he hasn't even, taken a lot of receiver snaps in practice.
Yeah, I don't think I took one snap from a receiver stance today, so it's definitely different. But I mean, it is what it is, and I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to another challenge and another opportunity. It's my 5th year, my 5th different offensive coordinator. It could be like 6 if you count last year's interesting situation. And then, you got a bunch of different guys calling plays. This is my 3rd head coach. So, it's been a whole bunch of stuff, and, I'm just excited to, put my head down, work, learn a new system, and keep at it and, continue to work.
And that was from Saturday. And he did get a touchdown, I believe, in some red zone work yesterday, which is good. So he is getting something out there. And that's an interesting one because, man, it is funny. 5 receivers and 5 offensive coordinators in 5 years. And then, I don't know. We don't know what happened last year. Last year it was a mystery. It was a big mystery about what he was, who was calling the plays and who was sending and what and all that type of stuff. But, one of the things that is interesting about this is that you have a coach in Mike McDaniel that is coming from a situation where he's got maybe the best tight end in the league, certainly one of the most complete tight ends in the league in George Kittle, who Gesicki's worked with at this tight end university and has done some work with these elite guys to get more well-rounded, to get better, to get that element of his game better. Because if he can, you're talking about an unstoppable player if you don't have to worry about the blocking issue with him because, the guy's a behemoth. He is big, super athletic. We know what he could do with his catching. Mike McDaniel lended some voice to this.
Everybody knows that his ball skills and range are outstanding. That helps for separating on defenders. We're working on, he'll be the first one to say it. He wants to attack blocking with a different severity than he ever has before. He's fortunate, and we're fortunate that, guess what, his position coach, John Embry, will settle for nothing less. So all those things are something that he's definitely embracing, and I'm excited to see what it looks like when it's all said and done.
It's interesting because Mike McDaniel is coming from the perspective of having one of the more complete guys in Kittle, right? So that can almost warp your perspective in some ways, and it can be good in others. Like he could say, he knows what the standard is to be the best, and could say Mike Gesicki, is a little bit behind that or a lot behind it or needs to take these steps to get there. But, when you are comparing yourself to a guy like him, you may never get there in the full package that Mike McDaniel wants. You don't know. So it can warp your perspective a little bit. I hate to compare these names together because I think that he's already 10 times the delight, even without coaching a game, than this bum was. But it's like Adam Gase comes here, right? And one of the big things that everybody was in awe of is that, oh man, he worked with Peyton Manning. And he sat there with Peyton Manning. It's well, it's great to work with Peyton Manning, but it can also warp your perspective a little bit on what you expect from these players. And when you think that your plays aren't being executed to that level, it's you don't have Peyton Manning running them. That's a big element to that, Gaser. So I think that there does have to be some caution from the coaching staff and looking at a guy like Mike, where it's all right, even if he's not George Kittle, can he be Kittle light? Can he be somewhere there and that somewhere that they're satisfied with him? Now, does that mean they're going to go and give him a contract? Well, I don't know. That's going to be an interesting question to see what he's able to do in this offense and how he's able to pull it off. McCochin talking about where they are with his contract.
Yeah, no, we try to do at least 10 million reasons that he's liked. No, we have, and that's something that you understand that it's a business. Talked to Mike early and said, hey, listen, this is something that's best for the Dolphins. Every player wants to have a long-term max contract. So here's what we do. We try day after day to get your game to the best of its ability so that at the end of the year, Mike, you make that franchise tag look like a discount. Because what that means is that you've been playing at a level that makes the Dolphins better and that also improves, your socioeconomic status, I guess, for the long term. So it is what it is. It's a business. So if you just approach it as, okay, well, this is what it is this year. Let's use this and here are your goals and acknowledge it. And it ends up being a blip in the radar.
I think that's a good way to put it. I also think that, look, Mike McDaniel, one of the things that stood out is not just a guy that talks about winning, but I think when we say a guy is a good, got a good relationship with players and that he's a real dude, I've heard several players, and you've heard him talk about the idea of getting paid long term and setting your family up. Tua's talked about this recently too, is that McDaniel understands that not only do you have to get the best out of these guys because you want them to win and you want them to be great competitors, but that these guys do want to get set up for the long term. And, Gesicki is now on that point of wanting to get that done. So that's gonna be interesting. Nothing. I don't think it's too early to take anything of struggles or learning and all that stuff, because he is learning stuff that's new, and he is in a part where it's like he is 6 offensive coordinators in 5 years. Jesus, that's something. That's something. But either way, I still think that he can be a really key weapon for the Dolphins going into this year.